I think states ought to have some flexibility, but I do think we need a federal minimum wage. It's not a top end wage. And when $7.25, which is still the minimum wage in Virginia, because he's not adopted a change, that does not allow any reasonable family to put food on their table and a roof over their head. So I think the idea of a national minimum wage makes an enormous amount of sense. And then if states want to raise that above that, that ought to be their choice. But no one in America should be working full time and not be able to feed their family or put a roof over their head. Mr. Jelinek, thank you for appearing. I've spent a long time on this issue of how you actually make capitalism work for a greater group of people. I think capitalism, when it really works, has taken more people out of poverty than any other system. The chairman and I have had lots of discussions on this issue, and I respect his passion on these issues. But one of the things I think you're showing is that you can have an extraordinarily successful company, pay people that living wage at $15. The fact that 90% of your workers have health care, that you've got 401k plans, you've got vacation time, you've got ability for family leave. You have not decided to outsource a huge amount of your workforce the way many other retailers have. And I know the chairman already asked you about turnover, retention, and productivity. I guess what I would like to talk to you about is, can you also talk about what you've done at Costco, not only to retain workers, but to provide that upward level of mobility for someone that may be coming in, in a starting position, but could make a career? I know you've got a much longer timeline than most people in the retail sector, and I'd love you to talk a little bit about that upward mobility path you give to your workforce.
Well, 95% of our employees we promote within the organization. We usually maybe attorneys council, although we have 3 homegrown attorneys that came through the system. Pharmacists, sometimes you have to go from the outside, although we've had techs that come in the pharmacy business to become pharmacists. But 95% of the individuals grow through our organization. So that's really what we do. We think they know that, they've been there, they have credibility, and they grow through the organization, which gives them the opportunity to make higher wages as they go into management positions, buying positions, tech positions, and to just grow with the organization and continue to improve their economic situation.
Mr. Jelinek, one of the things I've been looking at for a long time, and I again commend how you treat your workforce, but my fear is we've got an unlevel playing field from a tax, accounting, and reporting system in terms of investment in human capital versus investment in tangible goods. I mean, if you were to buy a robot to automate some of your processes at Costco, back office automation, you spend $5,000 in that robot, you get an R&D tax credit. The robot's an asset you can put on your balance sheet. You take 2 of your workers and train them to be more efficient than the robot, you don't get the same tax treatment or the same accounting treatment. I've been looking at trying to create the equivalent of a R&D tax credit for employers that actually upskill their workforce. I know I'm not I'm springing on this on you right now, but the idea of incentives for employers to upskill their workers, could you talk to me generally about that in our last 46 seconds?
When you say we're always looking to become more efficient for a lot of reasons, to make it safer for the employee, right? To reduce injuries, anything that we can do. You're always looking for efficiencies in the way you run your business. So just like any company, you do have to control your costs. One of the reasons that we do that is not because of wages. If we can make work more efficient, as we said before, we work off of lower margins. That's what we do. You can have more people, you just raise your prices, and just like other companies can do, they work off of higher margins. We pay higher wages, but always figure out how to become more efficient the way we run our business.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mark.